Okay then. Okay. And we're back. Oh my God, I can't believe we are continuing this collage project. My name is Jared Bendis, and this is my epic digital collage part 10. Yeah, that's right, part 10. The goal of today is to finish up the fine tuning work. I kind of have started this commitment that I was going to build this collage completely on camera. And so far, it's been 9 sessions. Originally, we started this collage because the Comes With Library at Case Western Reserve University was having a collage contest in honor of the open access collection of the Cleveland Museum of Art. That is where the Cleveland Museum of Art has put online 35,000 images into the public domain as high-res uncompressed TIFFs. Thank you very much to Cleveland Museum of Art. Anyways, so where did we leave off? Oh my God. Well, we left off having just finished cleaning up the dragon. So we've got the dragon and these three and these three and these three and these three here. So what's left? We only have several segments left. It looks like a lot, but it isn't. We have the tall ship, the green dragon, the blue swirl, the ducks, which are not in a row yet, never gets old, and the poplars, which it looks like there's 4 of them, but really there's only 2 of them because that's a clone of that, and I'll deal with it later. At which point, I will probably move on to finishing up the background and then adding things like, brightness, color, contrast, color, things like that. But let us continue with the slicing. All right, where do we start? Let's go to the tall ship. So let's come over here and get to our tall ship and see what it is that we need to do. Now, the tall ship's actually going to be the worst of them, I think, because we have all of this very, very light, thready information here. So I've got to really decide how much of this I'm going to keep and how much of it I'm not. I can't get rid of these things, but it's going to be really, really hard to keep them at the same time. So I have to start somewhere. I have to first make sure I'm on the ship layer. And let's go into the easy part. What's the easy part? Well, the easy part would actually be the lower part of the ship itself. I'm going to go back to my polygonal lasso tool. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are watching us live, I do pay attention to the chat window. So if you have any questions, requests, or generally want to just say, hey there, how you doing? I am there and available to you. All right, so let's come over here and see if I'm in the zone tonight. Now, again, some of this is going to be a little bit easier than others. Reminding everybody that when I'm playing with the polygonal lasso tool, I really use this two-handed. One hand is on my mouse. I sort of have my right hand on my left button, and I'm mouse clicking along the way. And the other hand is my left hand is on the backspace button on the keyboard, backspace key on the keyboard. And I feel that this two hand motion gives me a nice sense of moving forward and backward so that if I do make a mistake, I can just kind of click away. Now, looking over here, I've got that rope there, but you know what? I'm going to keep my ropes to a minimum. I'm really going to have to make a decision about these ropes as I move forward. And I know that rope, it feels fairly extra. Again, we have this. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a lot like cutting people's hair, where I'm going to have to really decide what I'm going to put where along the way. All right. Now, luckily, if you see the rigging, the bit of rigging to the left of me, that is actually a different ship. So I feel pretty good about that. And let's come back over here and start making a decision about what am I going to do. So many different ropes. I have to make a decision about each of the ropes along the way. I think I'm going to go with with this one. I'm going to go with the easiest decision, and that is I am just going to go with the outermost rope. And I think that's what I'm going to try to do with all of these. Is I'm going to try to find a shape that kind of matches. So like I will use this along the way, but I'm going to at some point I am going to eliminate some of the rigging because there's only so much delicacy people can see. Like, do I need this rope here? And the answer is I probably can get away with getting rid of that rope. I'll keep the tackle, but not the rope. And then I'll come down here. And again, do I need to keep that rope? The answer is it isn't going to be noticeable if I get rid of it, which is ideal. What will be noticeable, however, is the ship in the water line. So I'm going to trace along the water line. And it's kind of exciting because you're like, look at how much of the ship I've gotten done, and then you're like, not really, not really, not really at all, because it's not really going to be to my advantage when the time comes. Ooh, I guess I have to come back over here a little bit and go towards the lighter color. Right, there's that lighter color there. And again, I wouldn't have been able to do that very well if I hadn't had my hand sitting there waiting to sort of slice or to backspace at any given moment. This is again going to be a nice and fun challenge. Um, we'll see how far I get before I start screaming. Again, I'm not really thrilled about this. Because I only have a few more to go, a few more objects to go, I might even dance around a little bit to clear my head. You know, right now I'm just getting back into the zone of cutting, which is good. But when I have to get into that really, really fine zone of cutting those ropes, cutting the rigging, then I may make decisions about, maybe it's all time to take a mental break and go cut some ducks. All right. I'm thinking of a portrait I once saw of my ex-girlfriend's cat, and the artist who had done it had never done a cat before. He left the whiskers out, and there just seemed something so wrong about this portrait. Like you just kept looking at it, going, "There's something wrong about this portrait." And the girl at the time grabbed the portrait and a pencil and literally drew the whiskers back on that the artist had missed. And while the story initially sounds really, really obnoxious, it actually worked really, really well. Just those literally 6 quick pencil lines, and all of a sudden, it was magnificent, or it was just perfect. It felt real. So the question is, when I start deleting some of this rigging, how much of it is going to feel organic? How much of it's going to feel like I've deleted something that I shouldn't have? All right, let's zoom out. Again, we want to come to the reveal. So that's a lot of ship right there. Ooh, that made me feel good. I'm going to deselect that. And let's come over here. And just to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to rotate and put him in the water so I can get a sense of sort of at least straightness there. That is kind of nice, isn't it? Yeah. But the question is, how much of the rigging do I have to keep? And then how much of that how am I going to get rid of that weird sky when the time comes? I think some of this is going to be easy. I think I can almost, if I'm going to do a rough cut just so I have a mental image of it. Like I'm almost going to come over here and, come over here, and all of this makes sense so far. And, see if this makes sense mentally. Yeah, let's see how that works. All right, let's do another delete. All right, so it is making a little more sense. That feels good about it. All right, so now I've got to get in there. Now, once I've gotten in there, the question is going to be, what do I do about the color inside there? And I think that's going to be one of the things I have to do last. I think I have to do that almost when everything's almost over. Otherwise, I'm going to have these really thready lines that I'm going to have to make decisions about. So in the meantime, we're just going to view sort of the negative space as just that, negative space, and we'll leave it alone for now. So I'm not going to worry about this negative space, only about this one. All right, so I'm still feeling good. If you're watching, go online and say, "Oh my God, Jared's broadcasting! Yay!" A little bit of self-promotion. Never hurt anybody. Well, especially since no one's watching. Oops, fine. I could have continued, but because it wasn't a bad cut, I'll go from there. I knew the ship would be hard when I selected it. But you know what? Just because you know something's gonna be difficult doesn't mean you skip it. That's the thing a lot of people do. It's like, well, that looks like a lot of work, and I'm like, well, it's the work that needs to be done. Even with this entire collage project, where you sit there and go, like, my God, how many hours have you spent on this collage? And the answer is a lot. But I'm not regretting it. I would have done it anyway. It's just I don't think I've ever sort of documented any of my Photoshop in this way, where it's been just so transparent how much the process is taking. And again, like with this rope, I'm gonna keep this bit of rope in there, but I'm not gonna worry about. And there's a tackle, but what I'm not gonna worry about is the negative space inside just yet. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Plus, there is something to be said for when you're making a collage like this. For it, ooh, that's a mistake. Okay, so what do you do when you make a mistake like that? All right, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. It just kind of looped around itself. Well, then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use the Alt key to get rid of that selection. Good. And then I can come over here, hold the Shift key, get back in this selection, and now I'm back into what I was doing before. So again, use the Alt key to subtract it so that it didn't mess up too badly. And then again, remembering to hedge my bets or save often. I'll stop here. And then again, just so I can enjoy it, delete, zoom in. Yeah, zoom in. There is a balance between too far in and too far out with these things, but ooh, that little bit of red's going to be fun. All right, let's come back over here. All right, so right up the rigging. And that thin line's more rigging. You can see what the sail is. So I want to leave the sail. More rigging. More. Right, I've got the flagpole. And the flag. Oh, that nice bit of semi-transparency they're using. All right. And then around the ball. And then this is where it gets real delicate. All right, so we're doing so far so good. And again, I'm not going to be horribly afraid if this looks like I cut it out, because at the end of the day, I did. It's what I did, cut it out. If everything is a perfect blend, everything is perfect, then people won't even know I've collaged it. And I don't want that to be true. All right. Okay. Oh, what the hell's that red line there? Oh, another flag. All right. All right. Okay, so all right, let's get around this. Let's bend. All right. Now I'm pressing my luck. Zoom out and ooh, what did I do? Must have pressed the down key. Oh, apparently I pressed delete when no one was looking. That looks good. I'm okay with that. All right. I'll start at the bottom and work my way up again. So where are we going to start? We're going to start right in here. This tackle. All right, so all right, that's pretty good. Except now I'm on the wrong side of things, but we'll dip in this way. I hate going counterclockwise. I like going clockwise. I should have started in a different location, but It's a useful skill to be able to go in either direction when you're mousing, clockwise or counterclockwise. Delete that. Oh, yeah, it's looking nice, isn't it? All right. Scroll up a little bit more. And now we'll go this direction. Now we'll go clockwise again. All right, let's try it again, except this time I will not press enter so quickly. When I do that, I could always undo the selection or any of the other quick fixes that I have, but because it happened to have been a perfect selection, there was no reason not to say, all right, we'll just call that one a day and learn our lesson on the next one. All right. Slow and steady. If you make a mistake, don't be afraid of undoing it. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, back a little bit. There is a second guessing of yourself, where first you're arrogant and you don't back up at all, and then you start backing up and you find yourself like getting in your head. You back up for these things that are so minute that nobody would care, except for you. And of course, that's about your own standards. But at some point, you do have to realize that certain things no one's ever going to truly acknowledge how much work you'd spent on something. Case example is this collage. We're getting close. Okay, so I made a mistake again. Okay, Alt key, get rid of the mistake, Shift key, back in the groove. Again, additive and subtractive is a useful thing. Once I've started to add, I don't have to be clicking. I don't have to be holding the Shift key down. I only have to hold the Shift key down for that first click. After that, it just assumes that I'm keeping my shape and I'm adding or subtracting the entire piece. All right. So close. And that's exactly when you mess up. It's exactly when you mess up. All right, so all right, press delete. Oops. All right, so this is where we're at, and this is where I have to sort of make a decision. I could start cutting in more and more. I could cut in, and again, not everywhere. Some of these things, it's not air behind it, but I could cut in a little bit here, a little bit here. There's a bunch of places I could cut in, but interestingly enough, it holds up. A lot of them hold up. Not all of them hold up, but like this one doesn't hold up. But a lot of them do hold up, so I don't feel the need right now to do everything. Compositionally, I can sit here and go, oh, that reads. And that's really my goal, is to get it to read. And that's what I want to do here. So I think it's time to take a look at some ducks. All right, let's take a look at some ducks. First, let's click on the duck layer. Yay, duckies. All right, and I'm only going to keep the duck part of the duck. I try to get rid of all the special effects, only because these ducks are really, really small and they're not going to show up very large in the final collage. And also because their elements may not, oops, now this is a problem. I didn't mean to do that, but I can fix that. What I'm going to do is a little differently here. Okay, so that's the duck I've selected. So I'm going to hold the Shift key down and I'm going to start adding to my duck. Originally I was going to remove the negative space, but I can't. So instead, I'm going to remove the duck. And by that, I mean I'm going to remove the duck into memory and make its own layer out of it. All right. So hard when something is so low res. All right, so there's my duck. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to paste it. It's its own little layer. There's my little duck layer. Yay, duck, all by itself. I'm going to call it duck 1. And again, now if I felt the need to, I could trim it up a little bit, but I'm not going to. I'm going to come over here back to my ducks layer, and I'm just going to go and grab duck 2. And again, notice this is different than what we've done before, where we've grabbed all the bits of negative shape and deleted them, because there's multiple items on the same piece, and also because the pieces are very small. I mean, this is ridiculously small, and from a resolution perspective, it's small enough for me to probably grab it all reasonably in one sitting or one bite of what we've got here. Little duck feathers pop out. Good news is they're in the water, so I won't be seeing any feet necessarily. The bad news is, it's a low-res dog. Got no woodland animal support, wildlife animal support here. Oops, escape. All right, that looks pretty good. Cut, nothing left over. Paste, that's okay, and we're gonna call that duck 2. What did I just do? Duck 2. All right, I'm going to put the duck over here. And then lastly, going back to the ducks layer, lastly, I have the mama duck. And again, it's a lot that I can just start cutting on this. Now I can cut. Now I can come over here and cut. There's nothing left on the layer except for that duck. So if I come over here and do something wild with this duck, get it? Wild duck. Okay, that was pretty weak. Then I'm not going to be in as much trouble. All right, so take a look. And if you look, I'm trying to find the shape underneath it. I'm not trying to find every contour. I'm trying to find a shape that looks close enough. All right. Oh, I guess. I was going to say maybe I should start deleting after all. All right. Ooh, that's pretty. And let's go back to the rest of this. Kind of weird how I have to sort of make the neck. All right. Ooh, cut a little bit off there. Kind of looks like a camel a bit up here. Hardly feels like a bill. All right. All right. And delete that. Oh, beautiful. And then lastly, I'm going to come over here and highlight just the duck. Oops. Because there's still so much blue on here. Select inverse and then delete and gets rid of all the blue outlines. And now I have my ducks. And boy, are they on the wrong part of the painting, because like the ducks, I'd want to see them in the water. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab my boat, my gravy boat, move it over here, and then I can come over here and go, there's a duck, and there's a duckling, and that is not a duckling, undo, and there's another duckling, and that's a lot different than it was, and there's the gravy boat. All right, so we've done that. Yeah, so I don't have to go too much into, see now, normally I would have to go and do all those little fine detail work, but because I know where it's going to be sitting on, it blends together that little bit of blue you wouldn't even notice. All right, now what do I got? I got 3 more pieces to cut. I got the blue and the dragon. Let's take the dragon first of all and hide it. All right, hide the dragon, and let's grab this piece here, which is the blue swirl, and ask ourselves, how's this blue swirl going to integrate into our image? It's going to be tricky because there's not really a good amount to cut. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to grab my eraser tool. I'm going to make it nice and big, which I haven't done really in a while. I mean, and when I say nice and big, I mean nice and big. And you know, so it's a hard edge. I'm going to make it a soft edge. And then literally, though I'm not really good at this, I'm just going to come over here and try to create. Oops, that was too much. That's why we have levels of undo. Let's go back into history and start where I want to start. All right, so I'm now on the right layer. I'm going to go back to the blue swirl layer. I'm going to grab the eraser tool. All right, I know that's what I want. I know I want to rewrite around this blue line. And if I do that, then I know I can erase this without question. So I can come over here. I know I want to delete this blue line. So I come on erasers without question. Now the problem we run into is I don't want this leaf here. So I'm gonna have to start. I actually don't want any of the leaves. So I'm going to start figuring out where my limits are in terms of what I want. I like that swirl, but now we have to deal with this, and it's actually looking pretty good. All right. That's what I hate. I never let go. So I never let go. It was considered the same piece. So if you really almost want to commit your change part of the way through, let go. Now if I undo, I'll only be undoing a little bit. That's the one part of it. The bad part of it, of course, if you keep letting go, you only have 20 layers of undo by default set in Photoshop. You can always have more layers of undo, but that's just set into memory. So like right now, if I'm happy with where this is going, it would behoove me to let go. And by letting go, then it gives me a chance to at least go back to that point, so that I have to give myself these stop points and not just go, oh my God, look how good your hand-eye coordination is. I'm going to stop, let go for a moment, so that if I did make a mistake, at least I can go back to that moment, and that skill set is there still. So again, I'm getting nervous. I let go. I come back, and I come back around, and that's pretty good. Now, what do I mean by that's pretty good? Well, it's pretty good. It means I can come over here and I can kind of put it in the water a bit, which is what I was looking to do. And then I'm going to use the eraser again to kind of blend. Oops, that's not the eraser. I'm going to use the eraser a little bit to kind of blend that stuff that I want. Normally, I'm not a big fan of the complete blend here, but considering we've got different blues and stuff going on, I think this kind of works nicely. I don't need a lot of it. I just want that little bit of a swirl in there to let people know that there's some sort of a storm going on. All right, there you go. Let's take a look. That's pretty good. I actually like that. That's what I envisioned all along. That's what I meant to do. All right, now where's my dragon? There's a green dragon around here somewhere. All right, there's the green dragon. All right, so all the crazy tools I played with last week, this week, the other week. Will this work this time? Will it work this time? By this time, I mean, will I be able to select via color? So will I be able to grab the magic wand tool and select with the tolerant, not contiguous, and select? Am I on the right layer? No, I'm not. We'll be able to be on the green dragon, select the green dragon, and just get the green dragon. And the answer is maybe. I can go the other direction. Going the other direction might be the way to go. No, that's too much. So what I'm trying to do is use the magic wand tool to get as much of the green dragon as possible. And the answer is it's not happy, which does not surprise me at this point, because nothing ever works. That's okay. I'm not frustrated. I'm not. I just have to decide what of my dragon I'm keeping. And the answer is all of it. So what would it look like if I were to go through and delete the parts of the dragon I didn't want? In this case, it would be the white porcelain. And this, in some ways, is going to take more time than the ship would, but it's a lot more straightforward. Let's take a look. All right. Now you saw that I left that there and I waited a little bit too long to take it back. If you're wondering why did I wait so long, because I wanted to know if it would work. Sometimes you can recarve something and it's just not going to be as noticeable. With the red dragon, there was a lot of stuff that was overdone, and cutting it was actually relatively not just easy but essential, because the more you cut it, the more it made sense. With this one, it's going to be less about cutting it to make sense and just getting in there to this very intricate shape. It is a nice dragon, though. Oops. All right, then. So I want to get through one of the legs. That's my goal. Oops. I guess my goal is to fix what I've broken. So what do? You grab the Alt key and you subtract what it is that you've broken, right? Then you grab the Shift key. Then you grab the Shift key and you get back in there. And you just don't panic when that happens, because it happens to all of us. All right, so all right, so again, Alt key. Let's do our first delete. Bam. Ooh. Okay, I can deal with that. All right. The painstaking care. Oops. No, that was right. Of deleting the bits and pieces from our green dragon. Let's go with this negative space. Now, all right, I'm gonna try this right there. Ooh, let me turn on contiguous real fast. Contiguous means touching, so that will get rid of that. All right, let's try it again. That's pretty good. You can see that if I hit delete right now, that is not the end of the world. See, I don't like that jagged edge. To me, that is just that edge is just a little bit too jaggedy for me. And I'd rather see something a little bit smoother. I would rather do it by hand. So I'm going to come over here. First, I'm going to get rid of that little bit of a jagged edge right there. And then no one's going to love this dragon but me. But that's okay. You got to show your dragon some love. All right. Delete that. Oh, yeah, that's nice. All right, now let's get a couple of hands done and see how far we've done, or in this case, how far we haven't come. Again, for those of you who are watching, I have the chat window open if you want to say anything. For those of you who are just tuning in and streaming this whenever you feel like it, thanks for joining us. It's a lot of clicking. And oops. Again, having your hand on that backspace key is just so useful. Again, allows you to flip between sort of the two modes. one of additive and one of unzipping or unpinning points, as it were. I don't remember how many legs the dragon had when I zoomed out, so the answer is it doesn't matter because you're doing them all anyway, but I still have this curiosity, and curiosity in some ways keeps you moving when you're doing these types of things. All right. All right, let's get in there. All right. Okay, we'll come around this way. All right, delete. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Oh, there's a bunch of them. There he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've done worse. And it gets harder when you get back into that corner because it's warped out of area. So, not to be intimidated by anything, just pick a different area. You have to bounce around until things make sense. All right. Ooh, okay, I can accept that. My mouse must be a little touchy tonight. I don't know what it is where it keeps closing things, but so far we haven't lost any data. It's kind of the computer's way of poking me that now's a good time to delete. All right. Oof, gotta get around that last foot. Ooh, see, this is it. I am not doing good tonight. All right, so. I don't know why I'm not doing good tonight. As a part of me is like, oh, if you're not doing it, then you shouldn't do it. Or you're wasting your time, you're not in the zone. But part of me also likes to remind you that when you're doing this type of work, sometimes you don't have a choice. I have a job to do, and there's photoshopping involved. Sometimes it's not just about creative freedom. And let's be practical. Right now, even though this collage represents a creative freedom, I've already decided to work on it. I've already got my composition done. And right now, this is mostly just the skill set of doing what I'm doing. All right, so this one's going to be strange because it's in the back. Strangely curved and foreshortened. There we go. That feels pretty good. All right, so you watch, I'm kind of bouncing around where I'm doing a bit of a rough cut and a bit of a free cut at the same time. The trick is, at this stage of the game, I'm not going to do any rough cut anywhere unless I know that I've also done a free cut that will come back and help me, so that I'm not wasting my time. All right, let's just come back down here. All right, a little bit more. That's good. All right, so zoom out a bit. And what do I have left? Oh, that makes a huge difference, though, doesn't it? Makes a huge difference. Part of me wants to jump over to the poplar tree just to kind of wake myself up a bit, but no, 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 no. I'm gonna finish what I started. I'm gonna get into this dragon for a bit and do some dragon edits. Again, whatever edit I do is an edit in the right direction. Every chunk I take out. But again, if I just sat there doing the big rough cuts, that might make me feel a little bit good. But eventually, it makes you feel a little bit like, oh, you've done this before, and it's not getting you somewhere in the long run. This type of work, oops, this type of work's going to get me somewhere. All right. All right, so very careful along the way. There we go. All right, see how it goes. And kind of these really strange dragon fin, or shark fin, dragon fin, dragon's tooth. Oh, this is nice. I'm liking the way these are cutting. All right. All right, so this is getting there. Every time it's a matter of how further along am I willing to go? How much am I willing to press my luck? All right, I think I'm going to spin back around here. Spinning around. And let's see. Let's see how this is going. Ooh, getting close there. All right, let's see how I'm going. Really close, really close. Oops, almost. I have to back up a bit. And beautiful. Now, big time. How's that look? That's nice. I'm happy with that so far. And again, don't worry about those little light edges. I mean, that's what happens anyway. But I have to come over here. So I'm going to do, let's see how I'm doing so far. I was hoping to do it all in one sitting, but I am going to need a drink, and it has been 45 minutes. So I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish up this bit ahead, and then I'm going to take a pause, and part 10 will move into part 11. And again, it doesn't really matter how many parts I do this in, as long as I finish. And again, the funnest part about this is that when this is done, and I get through, all the layers of polish, I will be able to actually sell this, print this, do whatever I want with it. Make t-shirts. I'm not gonna make t-shirts. But the reason why is because again, the images here have all been placed in the public domain by the Cleveland Museum of Art, and because of this, public domain means I'm not even required to have citations, which is very nice. And again, I think it's really important to point out that technically the paintings are in public domain is a little bit more of a no-brainer. It's nice that they gave us the access to the high resolution paintings, but this is actually really more important. This They didn't have to put this photograph of this pot online. I mean, they could have put it online, but they didn't have to say that it was in the public domain, because the reality of it is if they wanted to assert copyright over this, that the law says that a photograph of a three-dimensional object, of which this piece of pottery is, has a value added, that it is actually a copyrighted piece. And the fact that they would take their money, their studio, the gallery, the photographers, took this photo, and not only did they take this photo, but they said they made the decision to put this in the public domain when they didn't have to, which is very exciting. And it actually almost motivates me to make sure I do, the right job with it. And again, as we get a little bit further on, what the right job means is going to change. Right now, I'm doing all these are what are called hard edges. They're very hard edges. We did soft edge before when I was trying to blend the background layers together, but here I'm dealing with these very hard edges. And when I do the fine tuning later on, not the fine cuts are what I'm doing right now, but when I start doing the fine, I don't want to say blending, but the ornamentation, whether how the light and how the color is going to work. And when I do that, I will be able to start playing with the edges a bit, and that's where I can start changing. What does it mean to have a hard edge? What type of hard edges are available to me? And yeah, like that, and like that. All right, so that felt good. There we go. Delete that. Oh, that's nice. And I'm going to come over here and do one more right now. I dream that I'll be able to finish the dragon before I take my break, but I know that is irresponsible. It's irresponsible because fatigue is a real thing, and I tell this to my students all the time. You stare at the screen, you need a drink, you need to blink, you need to sneeze. See, look at that. Sneeze on command. I talk about needing to sneeze, and I sneeze. Luckily, I'm not going to start talking about needing to yawn. It's so funny because... oh, no! Okay, can I fix this? Technically, I can. Subtract this shape. Yeah. And I can add... this shape. There we go. There we go. I don't know what's with my mouse tonight. Maybe it's Photoshop. Photoshop's like, just do it already, get over with. I'm sure others would have done this in different order, where they would have, cut one piece out and then made it all perfect, and then in terms of light and color and stuff. But I just feel that until you've gotten all your fine cuts done, you're still going to be doing a little bit of compositional work until you know what it looks like for sure. I think a lot of times people will do this and then they do it like 3 times, and it just seems really like a waste. It just seems that you're overdoing it, and I don't want to overdo it. All right, what comes next? What can I do? What can I do in a hurry? Let's zoom out. Let's do this. Let's take a break. I'm breathing. That's all right. So, all right, where am I up to? Ooh, look at that. All I have left is my poplar trees. 1, 2, duplicate it. The rest of my dragon and some of the space in the riggings. And I keep saying some because really it isn't all of it, right? This is all rigging. This is all rigging. This is, all of this is real. So where is the sky? There's some sky there. There's some sky there. There's some sky there. No sky there. There's sky up here. Sky up here. Sky up here. And decide which bits of sky I'm going to cut out. There is some, but not an enormous amount. And I may only do strategic elements of it, or I may leave it all together and call it a stylistic thing. Because again, I'm not really anti this. I think if I got rid of that piece right there, that would be nice. I think if I did the piece over there, that would be nice. Not the whole piece, just the piece that separates the flag from it. All right, so I'm going to get these cut tonight, and then we will continue. But so far, this is our collage. I think the big thing that everyone is like looking at is like, when does this big line go away? It's coming. It's coming. Just not there yet. All right, thank you very much. I am Jared Bendis, and I will be back tonight to continue the stream, to do part 11, to finally cut out the dragon and the trees and the rest of the ship, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Like me, follow me, send me messages in the windows. I'm always listening, and I'm Jared Bendis.